So this is exciting. I'm currently in Canada on the west coast in a place called Whistler, which is 2 hours up the mountains from Vancouver on a skiing holiday. And you, Michelle, are in Italy. So we are. It is now just gone 6 a.m. my time, and it's what time
Three,
is it for you? 3
3
p.m. 3
p.m.
p.m. your time. So it's a fascinating world and how just figuring out not only what time people are in, but what day people are in is quite fun.
Yeah,
Um,
and now we can collaborate,
I
even
know,
if we are
right?
in completely different places.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Later on this week, I'm doing a session with a group of people in Bangalore. So it's just fantastic that we can do this and make things work. One thing that has been really interesting has been when you have a little bit of a break, you have a bit of a holiday, your brain does some strange things and starts to look for other patterns outside of the normal patterns. And I just have to share this with you. We were thinking about agile in terms of making things as simple as possible. And while I was skiing, I met a group of people, and I met this lady who is training to be a ski instructor.
Hmm.
And so everybody was trying to get a few minutes with her, of course, to improve their skiing. And so when it came to my turn for my half hour of skiing lesson, I said, please tell me, what you can help me with. And so she observed me skiing one down a small little bit of skiing, and she comes up next to me and she goes, "Okay, we have some ideas. Are you ready for some feedback?" So I go, "Okay." Um, and she just gives me one idea. She
Hmm.
just gave me one idea. Okay. And then she told me to, and it was a visual idea. So it was very much getting out of my conscious mind or focusing on my subconscious mind. So I couldn't think about anything. I just had to have this image in my head
Hmm.
while I was skiing. And what happened was she then watched me do a few slopes with this in mind. And then she came up, said a couple of adjustments. Said, yes, now just practice that for the next 2 days. My skiing has been completely transformed with this one idea. So I have more control. I can go faster. I I fall less, which is
Hmm.
good. And I'm enjoying my skiing so much more because now I have no pain in my thighs. I used to ski in such a way that
Yeah.
my thighs at the end of every day would be absolutely wrecked. And I would have to, sort of, hot tub and massage and everything. And since I've been skiing in this new way with one idea, um, I can ski all day, and then I can get back to the hotel, and I can go on the treadmill and do running for 30, 40 minutes, right?
Fantastic. Can you
I
describe a little bit better this idea that she put in your
there's
head?
one
How
there's one
are
I
you doing that?
so the one idea that she put in my head was she said, "Have you ever played tennis?" I
Uh-huh.
said, yeah. I said yes. I said, "Well, you know the position that you are in when you are receiving a serve."
Yeah.
Okay, and so I said yes, I think so. So get into that position, she said. And then she described to me what the position should feel like. So I'm on the balls of my feet, and I am ready. My hands are ready to
Hmm.
to receive, and that's the position. And of course, when you first start, it feels a little bit weird because I'm back in my boots and I'm on my heels, whereas now I'm forward. But immediately I felt more comfortable, and immediately I felt better. Now, the danger of me telling people what the image is that I have is that they will try and replicate that image, but it might not be the right image for them. So that's
Okay.
a little warning there. But for me, she watched me and she gave me that image. I don't know what she did with the others. She may have watched them and given them a different image, but that image worked for me. And I've been tracking my progress over the last few weeks of skiing, and it's just been amazing because I've been able to adapt it to
Hmm.
all different conditions. Here in Whistler, there's a saying that if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. because everything changes. So the clouds come in. One day we're skiing and there is 1 foot of snow on the slopes. One day we're skiing and it's like ice. It's, you know, and so you're constantly having to adapt your skiing to the conditions. And every slope, every time you do the same slope, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So this got me thinking about another element of agility. First of all, a simple idea can make all the difference. One idea can make all the difference to our ways of working. The second thing is that we can't get then trapped in one way of doing things because everything is changing around us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So as I am skiing, I am then having to adapt very slightly my positioning in order to cope with the circumstances. And I can't say, right, I must be always in this position, because if I do that, I fall over, right? So it's just constantly learning and adapting and using that and not being fixed in a particular thing. Because I've had some lessons before. And always with those lessons, they've been teaching me things, also putting ideas in my head, you know, images and stuff, but they've never really quite worked for me. And so I got to the point where I was thinking, maybe, you know, maybe coaching me in skiing is just not going to work. I'm just going to do what I do and I'm going to enjoy it. But it was just, I was so grateful that I found this person who gave me this one idea and helped me completely change. And for me, I think about that in terms of agility. So many times I meet people who say, you know, agile is not going to work for us. We've tried it. You know, we did this, we did that. We're doing stand-ups, we're doing Scrum, whatever. It doesn't work. You know, we tried it for a bit, it worked for a bit, and then it stopped working. And for me, it's about, well, if you're trying to do everything all at the same time, you're going to fall over because it's too much. You need one idea at a time to adopt it. And then the second thing is you need to be continually adapting it to find your way of doing things with somebody who can watch you and coach you. Now, obviously, the lady that I learned from is, you know, she's not around at the moment, but with myself and my wife, we are able to watch each other and help coach each other back into the position that we need to be in if things go slightly wrong. It just got me thinking about my experience with skiing got me thinking about agility again.
Fantastic. So if I understand well, the 2 lessons that you got from these experiences, that even if we as agile coaches, we always think that we have a growth and a change mindset. So we should be open for every kind of feedback. And in reality, it's not like that. We are as resistant to change as a lot of the people that we are working with. That's one of the elements. I know it, and you know it. So and then you have to. The second, I think you have to find the right coach for you.
100%. That is 100% right.
You have to this person is the right coach. Maybe the third is something that I am thinking in the last few days. It came out of a coaching session that I had with one of my coaches, and one of the elements that he wants to put in place is more discipline, commitment to something. And I was listening to a podcast about, I was really looking at how you get into be more disciplined, to be more consistent every day in the things that you are doing. And then, you know, all our knowledge, all our transformation. Let me see if there is someone else. But one of the elements that I got, it was a very nice podcast about dieting and why it seems that the same diet doesn't work 2 times in a row. Is the diet or it's something else? And it seems that there is something else. It's not the diet. It's the first time you are doing it and it is working for a time period. The second time, because you have in your mind that it will not work, it doesn't work, not because it's the diet not working, because you are just doing something really little bit different than what you should do.
Exactly.
And so it's not working. But it's like agility. It has not worked for us before. No, it was started working. Then you lost the discipline and the commitment to that. Now you have fixed in your mind that it will not work. I remember something very, very funny. When I arrived to Mexico to do the transformation of AXA, before me in some departments, they had already another transformation that had worked, but they were not considering it. why you are not considered? It was a sales transformation. So we were redoing a lean transformation in sales. And then I was investigating, and it seems that everyone had benefited from that. They had improved all their KPIs. They were selling more. They were happier. And say, why you are not doing it anymore? No one knew. We just stopped doing that. So when we arrived there, yes, we did our lean mambo jumbo, our agile magic. But in reality, we were replicating and reinforcing what they had already done. And they thought in their mind, no, this is not working. So the point here is sometimes there are let's be honest, what we do are very simple things. But now the key of why they are working is because we are there supporting the commitment, the consistency, and the discipline of doing those things.
Exactly.
And how do you work on that? I think the only way that you get it that consistent for a very long time is when we are there, if we manage to completely change the organizational culture. Is another thing that I was thinking. I know you are in Canada. Maple syrup, how good is that? There. Why you are unable to find that syrup so good somewhere else in the world? Because their level of quality is at a very high bar. So you cannot do it worse than the best. If you're doing worse than the best, no one will buy it. The same is, I'm Italian, I'm originally from Naples. Napolitan pizza. Now you are finding very good places all over the world, but in general, pizza was a very bad quality everywhere. Why Naples was a very, very high quality? Because the quality around all the different pizza places is very, very high. So if you are doing it a little bit lesser than the best quality, no one will come to you to buy the pizza. So that is the place culture. So you need to have it. Yes. You need to have it at the right quality. So is that if you manage to help organizations to get to that kind of mindset where everyone is doing something at a certain level and that you cannot do it at a different level.
Yes.
Then that will propagate and continue agility in a fantastic way for a very long time.
No, absolutely. And I think and what you're bringing out there is this idea of we need to be continuously rethinking and adapting what we're doing. So when we retrospect, when we think about what is working and what isn't working, we need to think about absolutely everything. We need to think about how we're analyzing the data, how we're analyzing the evidence, how we're doing everything, because in a few days' time, in a few months' time, what was working for us may no longer be working for us. And so it's not that if we think about the process, then the process now no longer works. But it doesn't mean that agility doesn't work. It means that the process that we latch onto so quickly onto something that keeps working, right? And somebody was describing this to me 2 days ago, which I thought was brilliant. Look, when it comes to business, I love my agility. When it comes to my porridge, don't change it.
Don't change that.
Don't change it. Why? Don't change my porridge. I like it the way I like it. And I think the problem is that things which are okay to be fixed, like my porridge, right? Sometimes we apply that to other things because we're trying to. We're kind of almost being a bit lazy mentally, intellectually lazy, because we're trying to keep doing the same thing because it's easier to do the same thing because I know how to do it. But then the effectiveness starts to drop no matter what, because the world is changing around us. Everything is changing. And so if we get into this habit of being ready for the serve, back to the skiing analogy, being ready for the serve at all times, then it doesn't matter what comes to me. It doesn't matter what the terrain is. I can cope with it as long as I have not a fixed way of doing things, but a general idea of what it feels like. And that's what I'm loving about about Agile at the moment is we need to, and I know that you've been talking about this, we need to get to the point where we are able to feel these things, not be thinking about them always, because our conscious minds are very slow compared to our subconscious minds and very unpowerful.
Absolutely. We were talking before in another session, me and you separately, not record the session, is how the connection with mind and body is important. Because this kind of thing of getting that image, the new idea in your mind, and then bringing it into your subconscious mind that is also your body. My daughter is doing some theater training for the first time. She's going to a theater school, and for the last few months, more than 3 or 4, they are just working with their body. They are not talking. They are not doing anything else than working with their body, because they have to get in touch with that. Now they will start, I think, this week with doing some exercises where they are rolling on the floor, and while they are rolling, they will say something, because there is a connection with what they are thinking, what they will say, and then they are rolling on the floor. And the same, I am a mindfulness teacher of the MBSAT protocol. MBSAT is mindfulness-based strategic awareness training. It's a protocol specifically for business. And the first 4 weeks are just totally dedicated to train your connection between the mind, the body, and all your emotions and everything that you are feeling and thinking. Why? Because you have to be aware of yourself when you are making decisions. And how much and that is very connected to what you are saying, because you are getting an image and you are translating that image in your mind of getting ready to your body, and you are getting also all the feelings together. And that helps you to move better while you are skiing. And the same think of the same when a top manager has to take a decision. How many feelings, strange things are going in your mind and in your body, and you get anxiety and whatever. If you are not aware of those things, what kind of information, what kind of decision can you take and make? So that is another enormous connection. So you're working on yourself, or being self-aware with your body and your thinking, what you're doing. And it connects to what you just done with skiing.
It is, yeah, no, it is amazing. And I think it's about, as you say, that things like fear and all of that, which can very much get in the way. We need to learn, we need to relearn, I think, because we probably, as children, we do this anyway. We learn how to walk without fear. We observe our adults around us walking, and we keep trying until we do it. And, there's a whole thing there that you know more than I do.
Can I make a connection to that fear? But this is one of the biggest fear when you are at work. Okay, if I do something wrong, if the company is not doing right, I will get fired. And I can tell you, I had all my best experiences in transformation when I was thinking, I don't care if I'm getting fired. I want to do things in the right way, and I want to get fired by doing those things in the right way. So it's like a crazy thought. But every time that I was doing it like that, the things were going much, much better. Now, one of my coachees was in the same situation. When he passed the fear of getting fired into doing the things that he think they have to be done, then his career changed completely, and also the organizational structure changed completely. By the way, that you can find it in books about decision making. If you look at Intel was a company that was mainly relying on producing and selling memory chips. But when the Asian competition started to rise, even if they were a very high level, they were selling a lot, a little bit like Kodak. I don't know if they had the same market share like Kodak, 95% of the market. They had a very big market share. They were earning everything in memories. The CEO and the chief operation officer, or the chief financial officer, one of the two top guys, they were sitting in the room and thinking, okay, what's happening to us? Memories, we're still earning a lot of money, but we are getting big competition. What will happen in a few months? And they will not make any decision. They were in the boardroom trying to discuss what should happen there. Then they said, okay, we are here for hours. We cannot make a decision. Let's go out. They went for a walk. So just they're disconnected from the place. They're disconnected from the hard feelings that you have in that place, that you have to keep that revenue at any cost, because that is the thing that memories was selling memory was getting the revenue high. Outside, okay, let's be frank. What will happen a few months down the line? That our revenues will go down anyway, because these guys will increase their competition. So we will get fired. And what will the new CEO and CFO do? They will have to refocus everything on these other things. So why we don't do that? So they went away from the fear, and then they reshaped everything into the direction of focusing on producing CPUs. And Intel today is known for CPUs. I even didn't knew that they were producing memories at the time.
I did not know that either.
That is one of the stories where fear, getting away from fear that you have in your body, gets to a completely company transformation. Luckily for them, it was not the same for Kodak.
Yes. And I think that there are things that we can do to help people with that fear, which can be so consuming at all levels for sometimes not logical reasons, right? And I think one of the ways that Agile encourages is through experimentation. Let's spend a little bit of time working out what happens. Is there a market for something? Could we do something differently? And again, we're full of, now as we collect these stories, full of stories of things which changed with somebody giving them a new idea. I love the story that Joe Justice has put out on a video where he talks about the fact that the CEO of 3M was called by Elon Musk, and Elon Musk said, you're very good at producing these three things. One is the safety screens, the privacy screens for computers. One is adhesives, and one is capturing the solar energy.
Okay.
And what he said was, I want you to put those three things together and create a different type of solar panel for me, right? And so, according to Joe, the story goes that the CEO was very impressed with Elon, that he gave him a new idea for a new business line, and he said, "Listen, I'll put this into our pipeline, and we'll go through, product research, investigation, development, and in about 7 years we should have a new product." So
7 years.
So, this is the story that Joe tells. Elon Musk says, "Great. Well, I want to start selling that in 7 weeks." Now, the story goes that they'd made the decision to try, and they got the result in 5 weeks. Right, and Joe goes on to tell about how he did that. In the story, which is also very interesting. But the point is that sometimes an idea from left field, from outside the organization, can inspire us. And the way they tested it was they got a team of 4 or 5 people, and they just said, your job for the next 2 months is just to do this and nothing else. Total focus, nothing else. Just do it, right? And they changed. They went from 7 years for a new product cycle to less than 7 weeks.
I really love what you're saying, and I think I have 2 points on this. One, why this idea came from outside 3M and not from inside 3M, because that innovation. There are a lot of studies on how innovation happens. Is always a combination. Innovation. Nothing is born from zero, from nothing. So you don't have a void and then you get a new idea. It's always a combination of things that are already existing and applied to a different field. So why didn't it happen there? My bet is that fear. They were earning so much with that. Why should we look at something else? Why should we look at something else? We are earning so much. We are doing our work. That's enough.
Exactly.
That's second. My question, I think, with the guys that will dare to watch this recording, is there anyone in some companies that would like to engage in looking for trying something completely new? Why not? Just get in touch with me and you, with us, people that are watching, and then maybe we can come with something together. I think that's a challenge brought to the guys that are really the few guys that will watch this.
The one person.
The one person.
The one person watching.
And that has the guts to say, look, let me see if I can do something different.
Let's do something different. And I think that's right. And as you were talking there, it reminds me of two great books. I'm sure you've read them. One is Who Moved My Cheese?
Fantastic book. Yeah.
And the other one is Our Iceberg is Melting. Similar story, but from a different perspective. And I think this is the point, is that we get so lost in seeing what is working at the moment. We don't see that the iceberg is melting when we're living on it. We don't see that the cheese gets, finished and we can no longer find it. Whereas if we are constantly exploring different things, as those two fables tell so well, different ideas, we can just continually evolve. We don't need to be told to from outside. We should do it on inside, because most of these organizations have anywhere from 10 to 100,000 people in them, right? 10 people or 100,000 people, that's enough to have new ideas. If we can just, somebody is sitting there at the end of their working day, they go home and they think, that will be such a cool thing to do, but they have no incentive, and they don't have the psychological safety, they don't have the environment to bring that idea forward to the company.
But look at Google, at least the first waves of innovation. Google Cloud comes from people just dedicating those 30% of their free time into that specific project. Google Maps was more or less the same idea, arose in the same way, and saw a lot of other projects there. Then they had to stop set a lot of projects that were not going anywhere. But a lot of those big innovations happening there came from people volunteering and dedicating their free time, that Google was giving to them to work on their own projects, into the developing these kind of things.
I read the same thing was happening at Atlassian. So they had this idea of it's a free day. It's 24 hours. Starts in the middle of the day and goes to the middle of the next day, and it's basically do whatever you want, work on anything you want, do whatever you want, fix whatever you want. It's your day, right? And according to the article, that was so successful, and I think it was in something like Harvard Business Review or Forbes or something was pulling this together, and that process was so successful that they then went to once a quarter instead of once a year. And then they said, well, this is really working. So it became part of that culture where just let the teams who are working with the problems day in, day out, solve the problems without needing permission to solve them. Apparently they solved bugs, they came up with new product ideas. It was just, and in that small period of time, I know where I read it. It was it's in Dan Pink, one of the TED Talks that he did. He talks about this what happened at Atlassian, and it's the TED Talk that was turned into the cartoon. I'll see if we can find these little links and we'll post them into the bottom of this recording. Oh, too exciting! It's just too exciting what's going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Listen, we've been going for 40 minutes, so and this has been amazing. Let's take a breath, and we will catch up again very, very soon, and continue our chat, Michel.
Absolutely, and remind the challenge to the one person that is watching.
The one person who's watching this.
Please come back to us if you want to do something different. Let's see if we can help you in any way.
Yes, let's have a chat. One idea, right?
Yeah, one idea.
30 minutes on a slope, one idea completely changed everything. Fascinating.
Absolutely.
Wowza. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Ciao. Ciao, guys.